What's up, everybody? Welcome to Multiplayered, the podcast by gamers for gamers. You might already notice something different today. Guillermo, our typical host, is dead. He died. He will probably be resurrected again for next week. People keep dying on this show.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's
Why
bad.
am I on the show then?
You're next.
Yeah, you're next. Get ready to die. But anyways, he'll be back next week. But until then, I am your substitute host for the week, Zach Matscanis. Howdy. And to my left, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mick Wood.
Oh, me? I'm talking about him. Oh, hey.
It's you.
What's up? That's me.
You're the guy with the face that we've never seen.
We've talked about him many times.
I'm alive. I'm real. I'm real.
He's a real man.
For now.
I'm not hidden.
And his first time on the show, too.
It is, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And to our farthest left, we have another man that isn't the myth or the legend,
Nope.
Javier Ortiz.
None of the above. Just plain old me.
That was really
Nice.
boring.
I wanted to start the show going, the man with the wood, Mick Wood.
Okay,
Nice. I like that.
Hour down. Good.
All right. So, so just a little housekeeping. First off, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're just tired of seeing our faces, put us in your ears with iTunes and Google Play. Check that stuff out. Nathan, why are you laughing over there? Cut it out. Put us in your ears with that beautiful MP3 format. It's delicious.
Give you some of that oral pleasure. AURAL. Like that? I like that.
That was nice.
And then if you're watching us or listening to us as a audio podcast, check us out on YouTube. You can see our faces. You can see things on the table here. It's a good time. We just put random stuff
You might see a cat from now on.
Yeah.
Did you have
Every
your
now and then.
U-tunes sorted out?
I still work on that YouTube. And then lastly, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/multiplayered, where you can throw us a buck or two, and you get some bonus episodes every other Friday. But if you don't want to throw us any money, no big deal. Those bonus episodes the following Friday will be up on YouTube for all of your faces to check out. And iTunes and Google Play.
Nice.
All
And
that.
U-tunes.
Everywhere.
And YouTunes. But yeah, so let's start this show.
Let's get it
Hopefully
going.
I'm not gonna screw it up as our host for the week. I never do this.
Well, you're doing a terrible
We're
job
just-
so far.
I know,
so
You've already screwed it up. It's okay. We'll let it slide.
This gonna be a train wreck that just keeps on going. This train's
All right.
it's the speed bus, man. Just rolling through LA.
with no traffic.
50 miles an hour. Just Tom Cruise is there hanging out.
Nope, it's Keanu Reeves.
Well, wrong guy. Yep, bad host.
Let's get this train wreck going.
So we got some fun stuff to talk about today. We're going to be talking about Battlefront first, but then we're going to talk about like sales and all that fun stuff. We're going to talk about that Mario movie. It's going to be a good show.
Mario.
Oh, lastly,
Mario?
This is going to be coming out on Thanksgiving. Did you guys know that?
Oh,
What is?
It is.
show.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're listening to this on Thanksgiving, thanks for having us part of your
Thanks.
family tradition. I hope you just have us on a laptop just blasting on the TV or on the dinner table. Grandma's just screaming at you. She doesn't know what's happening.
You throw a turkey leg at her.
Is this what your Thanksgivings are like?
Just
Getting screamed at and watching,
grandma.
Grandma's
watching
just
YouTubes.
like, I don't know what this is.
Shut up, Grandma. Throw a turkey leg.
Right in the face, just bam. In your face. Turkey leg. Yeah, so, thanks for having us. Happy Thanksgiving and all that fun stuff. Happy Black Friday. Get some of them sweet sales.
Yeah, don't
Isn't it
die.
like Black Thursday now? Because it's like,
I know. Dude,
it's like Thursday is when it is.
so Target, I looked at theirs, and they're open Thursday until 6 p.m. and then they close.
It's so weird.
And then they
So
open
weird.
again at like 6 a.m. or something like that. I
It,
could be right. It's something weird like
yeah,
that. So
it's weird
like,
hours.
So they're just open all day Thursday.
Yeah, it's Black Friday's weird.
Anyways,
Stick to Cyber Monday.
speaking of just craziness, Battlefront 2,
Yeah.
Yep.
and that whole speaking of train wrecks,
Yeah. Hey, they wanted
They-
to make people feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. That was their game plan, and that was the whole point
Yeah,
of it.
how'd that go for them?
The most downvoted post in Reddit history, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, they obviously we've been kind of talking the death loot boxes, and we've been following the Battlefront thing a lot. So it's just it seems like the 2017 like theme of the year is loot boxes.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody is trying to figure out like the best way to just squeeze all the money they can out of the people. And everybody kind of has their own way of doing it, whether it's just like you buy a $60 game and then you get these loot boxes, or it's like a free game with loot boxes. And I think EA tried to take it like a step too far. And
yeah, it's that whole pay to win mentality. Because again, like I don't necessarily have a problem with loot boxes or DLC. Well, cosmetic stuff's fine. I'm fine with that kind of stuff. But when it comes to pay to win transactions, then it's like, well, what's the point of even playing? Because you just have guy who makes more money than me just puts $200 into it, and he's already got everything better than I do.
Or a kid that has his dad's credit card.
That too, yeah. It's just like it's not fair.
Yeah, and man, EA like at literally in the final hours before that game was released, just pulled microtransactions completely offline. Like you can't do it right now, and I think Activision did the same thing with Call of Duty World War II. I think they're in the same boat where they pulled their microtransactions off.
Wow,
it's probably a smart thing for
it's just I think it's one of those things that they're just like, all right, we're gonna take a step back, we're gonna figure this out, and then we're gonna say these later.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever seen like a video game story like this covered by so many outlets. Like it was all over the news, CNN, like. Tons of different media outlets are just covering this worldwide.
Well, this is the topic I really want to dive more into. The necessarily the loot boxes. It's just players and using their voice to finally like be heard by a big developer like EA.
I mean, this is like the first. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like the first I've seen is like the players actually banding together and give like the rating we saw was so low.
Dude,
I've never seen like them do that just based on something like that.
So Metacritic had 5,400 user reviews, and the user review is 0.8. I have never seen anything like that.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty bad.
It is insane, and I've been looking at like actual critic reviews as well, like IGN and some other outlets, and their reviews are reflecting the loot box system, which is good. I'm glad that there's reviewers out there that are actually like adding that into their reviews now.
Yeah, it should be. It's the complete package of the game.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that it's like, it kind of makes it say, I mean, you might not be having as much fun, and that's what games are all about.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I'm glad that the critics are.
Especially, when you implement these pay-to-win, like, infrastructures, and, like, they also have, like, the mobile game infrastructure with some of their game modes that have cooldowns. Like, you can't play them for a while. It's like, well, why did I pay $60 if I can't even play this game mode? Like, you're making me wait, and then you're making me pay money to get better. It's just... It's total nonsense, and I'm glad that like, and I kind of mentioned it before the show began. It was like, it seemed like this was like the straw that broke the camel's back, because like these types of gaming infrastructures have already existed, like pay to win and loot boxes, DLC, all that stuff has already been around. But this seems like kind of like the last straw. Like people were just like, that's it. Like, are you kidding me? Like Darth Vader's 75,000 credits, like. And I get like 100? Like, it's bullshit. Like,
it definitely feels like people are kind of finally speaking up, speaking with their wallets, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And there's tons of like, it was crazy. It was on Twitter and Reddit. People were just like, do not buy this game. If you're a parent looking to give like a gift for your kid or something, don't get this, because they were also like tweeting at Disney saying like, this game is making, promoting like gambling habits for children, because you're just like, oh, loot box, trying to see what I get. Like it's just that like snowball effect. It just kind of goes, and so it was like all over Reddit and Twitter. Like people were just like despising this game and like trying to convince everybody they can not to buy it. And so far, I think it's shown pretty well. Like when it's something like this is covered on CNN, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it definitely seems like. I bet Disney is kind of like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
The rumor is like, the head of Disney's like calling up the head of EA, like, yo, what's going on? Are you putting gambling in these
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
Star Wars game?
Yeah,
You can't, this is a Disney property, bro. You can't do that.
Yeah,
he
dude.
said bro too.
Just like that. That's word for word.
I mean, I came into this because before you guys told me about it, I didn't really look too much, and I didn't know there was the most downvoted on Reddit.
Yeah.
I didn't know it had a 0.8. Like, I didn't know. I kind of went into it because I played the first one that came out, 2 or 3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, 2 years.
It was, it was fun. It was a good multiplayer with your friends and stuff. And then I knew they were doing campaign in this. I came into this and I bought the premium edition, and I got all extra loot boxes. And I didn't know there was based around you get more power ups, or you get all this extra stuff. And just right off the bat, I started with my friend, and he was ready to play. He's like, all right, I'm inviting you. I'm like, hold on, I gotta open my loot box. I got these. Boom, one. It took a good 30, 45 seconds to get one open.
Yeah.
I had 12.
Oh God.
And I was like,
World's
and he's like, let's
longest
play.
loot
I'm
box.
like, no, hold on, I'm on number 2. And I wait, and I get something, and it's like, you get a better grenade. I'm like, wait, I get something better than everybody else? That doesn't, what do they have now? Because it's random,
Yeah.
So they could have something that's better than what I got.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now I felt like it was really unbalanced.
And you had the deluxe version, correct?
Yeah, it was like $80, I think, or something like that. And then I had coupons and stuff for it from Xbox. But
So what does that come with besides the loot boxes? Is
It's,
that
like, different-
the DLC as well?
no, it doesn't come with DLC, so that's not season pass based. But it was you had early access for it. That was one thing, and then 2 was you get different skins for your stormtroopers. You get all these premium loot boxes. That's pretty
Right.
much what it was. It was the loot boxes.
Gotcha.
I didn't know that was what
Yeah,
it was.
so it's still just
That makes sense, because I remember on Reddit, one guy was like, I paid $80 and I can't even play as Vader or Luke or anybody, because
Yeah.
he got nothing out of it.
Yeah.
And then you got some crazy brain thing.
Yeah, there was things because you can use Ray, and you can, when you in the game modes you build up your battle credits in the game. So
Yeah.
you play, and every kill you get a certain amount of kill points, and then you can spawn in as Yoda or Ray or whatnot. And I got this thing for Ray. It was 40% longer time to mind manipulate someone, and it's so someone can manipulate it for 3 seconds, and then I get it for maybe 7 seconds or something, or
Yeah.
6 seconds. It's how come that just seems so unfair that you get
Yeah,
the ability
it's
to
totally
do
you
that.
know,
unbalanced.
you got this, it's because you spent
I
you spent
guess.
$75, $80 instead of
spent
the chump that
15.
spent 60. You
Yeah,
know?
and
That
I
guy can
didn't
go screw himself.
when I first bought it. I didn't think about that when I was first playing. I didn't think about it, and then I was kind of and then the more you talk about it, it's that's not. I mean, that's not the way.
Yeah.
Because I'm all for loot boxes. Overwatch, I spend more money on that game just from loot boxes.
Yeah.
And I love skins, and there was Smite, Overwatch, all these different games I've played. I bought all the skins and stuff, because it's fun gambling with it a little bit, But when it comes to paying for you to shoot someone with 2 shots rather than 3,
Yeah.
I think that's too much.
Yeah, it's not fair
It's
at
too
all.
far.
Yeah, I think just the pay to win mentality. I think that just needs to disappear real fast, and hopefully every developer is kind of taking a look at what EA, just this enormous stumble, and are going to kind of be a little easier on those kind of microtransactions and stuff moving forward.
EA might get voted again worst company of the year.
I think it's going to happen.
Because it happened twice in a row.
They just keep getting that.
They don't learn. I don't know why. It's not hard. Just keep pissing off the people.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy, and I think they probably just thought they could get away with it because it was Star Wars.
Yeah,
know?
but you think about the original Battlefront 2 was such a classic.
I know.
How could you go and you take that
Shit on
such
it.
great thing
Yeah.
and be like, all right, now we're the worst company. We just
Yeah.
took the best game that was on
dude.
PlayStation 2 and just kind of ruined it.
Yeah, it should have been such an easy win for them. And
Yeah.
Should've been a
I'm
slam
curious. I'm really curious as far as the MPD numbers for November. Obviously, we won't get those until December. So,
Right.
I think we'll be talking about that once those come out, because I'm very curious how Battlefront 2 sold.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
what they're
totally.
doing sales wise, because it's I want to see those numbers and see if one of the reasons they did this. They pulled out the microtransactions.
Yeah,
'cause
see if that
they were
boosts up
actually
the
seeing,
sales.
people could have been canceling pre-orders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which also they eliminated a way to cancel your order on Origins on EA's own website.
Yeah,
if you
they
order the
shut it
game,
down.
you can't cancel the pre-order.
Yeah, you'd have to
What?
call in. Yeah, they stopped it online. Because so many
awful.
people were doing it, and they just you couldn't click it anymore.
you had to
Refund.
call, so
You
people
had to
wouldn't
call
get
and
that
wait on the
stuff.
line.
It's so messed up.
Yeah,
man.
dude. If you dive into the Battlefront Reddit from this past week,
Yeah.
you will find all the crazy stories people had to deal with.
So crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's
I
insane.
mean, overall, to give an opinion just about the game, I mean, it's not a great game. It's not phenomenal. but it's a good multiplayer experience to like. I played for an hour or two, and I was like, yeah, cool.
Well, that's the thing. Like when the beta came out,
Yeah.
I loved like the Starfighter mode.
Yeah.
That's like one of the most fun things I've ever played. But
Yeah, Guillermo seems to really like that mode.
yeah, it was great.
And it's not bad, but I can see where the fans are gonna put it, as one of the worst games just because of those transactions.
And I was really excited to play it just for the story mode, but I heard it was like 4 hours and feels very rushed and not that great, which is a shame because it's like, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world, but like I like diving into that kind of world, that galaxy every once in a while, and kind of, especially like as a video game, I think it's just very interesting to dive into a huge lore like that.
I mean, we've mentioned it before, like games like what was that Star Wars game with the apprentice of Vader?
It's Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
Which is very
like that's a great game.
I like that.
Yeah,
game.
it's super fun, and it's an
original.
interesting take on that world. Like, oh, Vader has an apprentice.
Yeah,
and
I thought those two games were very interesting. Like I thought just like this secret apprentice of Vader is like a really fascinating side story that it's like this untold story of this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing about Star Wars. Like that world is so huge.
Yeah.
And you can go in so many different directions, which is kind of like what they're doing with the movies now. With like Rogue One, and there's gonna be a Han Solo movie, and they're just doing spin-offs now. So it's like you could totally do that with the games. You could base it off the thousands of books that Star Wars has as well. I mean, there's hundreds of ways you can go about this without implementing pay-to-win things. Like you could just make a dope campaign story. Like imagine like a Red Dead Redemption, but Star Wars.
That's what I was really
or
looking
Mass
forward
Effect.
to the single-player game that just got canned, and they're just turning it into
I know.
another like multiplayer
It
games
was
as service.
Visceral who was doing it. Yeah, it's a shame. Man.
Yeah. So
like the guys who made, do you imagine like a horror Star Wars game? Like the guys that made Dead Space were gonna make a Star Wars game.
yeah,
Very cool.
so we'll see what happens with all that. Like I said, I'm very curious about the numbers in a month.
Yeah, totally.
We'll see how EA tries to come back and pivot from this and
yeah.
So
Well, they'll probably do. I mean, if they were smart, they'd just go back to cosmetics and that for microtransactions.
Yeah.
That would be the smart choice.
Yeah.
But hard segue. We're gonna because I don't know how to get out of that. I don't know how to get from Star Wars
EA
to
sucks.
And EA sucks.
And you know what doesn't suck?
Mario. There you
That's
go.
right.
Yeah, there we go. Like speaking of movies and games and movies, Mario. So Nintendo, they've worked out a deal with Universal, who they've already had some dealings with because obviously they have the Nintendo Land coming to the Universal Studios, so they're pretty tight now. So with Universal, they've worked out a deal to do an animated Mario movie, and it looks like the people behind the like the Minions movies,
Illumination
and, like,
Entertainment, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're going to be kind of heading this project, and but Nintendo has like a heavy hand in it. It's like
Thank God.
Miyamoto's coming on as a producer for the project.
That's good.
And
Nice.
yeah, I mean it's one of those things like, dude, they got so burned with that awful live action movie and
Awful.
and-
I mean, they've gotten burned with every movie and TV adaptation for every property they've ever had.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I can't remember who Reggie was speaking to. Maybe it was like the Times or something like that, or like Wall Street Journal. One of those, not video game people. And he was like, "Yeah, we were very burned by the Mario movie, so we didn't want to do anything for a long time. But
it makes sense.
We're back.
You got to recover from it. But now, like with the success of the Switch and Odyssey, of course, it only makes sense. And with a theme park, to have a movie go along with whatever rides they're gonna make. I just wonder if Mario's gonna actually like talk.
Yeah,
It's
that's
gonna be weird.
That's what I'm interested to know.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's just it's the weird thing about, and who knows, maybe it's gonna be like Minions where they're just like
Yeah,
just
banana.
they're just making
Mario's running around. Banana.
Banana.
So I'm definitely interested to see if they actually have Mario speaking more than just like whoa.
Yeah, it's a me.
Yeah, that's
I feel
about
like
all
they
it
would
ever
have
says.
to. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the movie? How are you going to plot them? I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, you think
what
about it, no
characters
one
are going to talk then? If
I don't know.
Toad.
No, he always just goes wah.
Yeah.
if they could successfully make an hour and a half movie with zero dialogue,
I mean-
and do well in theaters.
Win the Emmy.
They'll deserve the company. They deserve everything of the year.
Yeah.
Just for the lifetime award.
It's gonna be so weird just seeing like if Mario talks to Luigi or if they talk to anybody, like it's just gonna be so weird not hearing them just go.
It's just all subtitles.
Yeah.
And then like one of the cuts they put the little press A to continue. And it's like, shit.
Oh god.
I don't have a controller in my hand right now. What do I do?
The audience is like, what? What do I do? It's like it's frozen.
The ushers are like, "Oh, you guys didn't buy your the controllers? Yeah,
$3.
You had to buy Joy-Cons before you came in.
You gotta pay to watch the rest of this movie."
That would be. Imagine if you could like make a movie where like if people that had Switches like brought their Joy-Cons to do something where like trying to like
that'd be
tie
pretty
it
amazing.
together. That would be a crazy concept.
Yeah.
It's like Cinema 5D or something. Totally interactive.
Yeah, but then everybody would just be like screwing around the whole time. You got like a whole theater of people, like nothing would ever get done.
True.
Well, you could, but then if you could try, like, you ever heard, I can't remember where I saw it, but it was like, they made glasses once where, like, you look at, it was for split screen gaming. There was glasses where you put these glasses on and you only see what your split screen, like that. If you combine that kind of technology with the Joy-Con, it's like your controller only controls what what you see in the theater or something, but. That's off topic, but anyway, that would be a crazy.
That'd be crazy if that happened.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah,
Man.
Nintendo's all about doing stuff crazy, weird stuff in the future.
So you guys, do you both feel good about a Mario movie? No?
I mean, based off history, not really, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Mario Nintendo guy. I've never been like I've played them, but like I've always felt like Mario was just like a really good game and there was a really big following, but I don't know. I feel like if it's going to go into theaters and be, I mean, I don't think it's going to be as big as like the Minions and that kind of style. I think it'll do well, but I don't know what target audience of kids are going to go to see the Mario movie. I mean, I don't know what. It's hard to know because there really hasn't been anything like it. Like it's just been the games and they do really well. And I don't know what the age range and the audience is, but. I'm interested to see. I think it's time for something like that.
I mean, this grown man is definitely going to go see it.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely.
I think we'll do a company field trip.
We should. Yeah, we'll all definitely go see it. It's just, it's weird to think about, just because again, and it's hard not to think about the history of things. You know, when looking at a new thing, but like Nintendo's just had such bad luck with producing TV and movies based off their properties.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Despicable Me movies, those Minion movies, makes just billions of dollars. So I mean, it's a good team behind it, and if you know, based off of this past year with Nintendo being involved with, but also letting another company run their IP, like with Ubisoft and Mario Rabbids, that's been pretty successful. So maybe this is a trend that will continue into the movie theaters and TV, maybe.
Yeah, the one thing I think is nice about this is Nintendo is they're loosening their grips a little bit on their IPs. Like they've been so like wary of everything for years.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they don't want to do merchandise, or like at one point it's like they didn't want to do like merchandise and toys. It's like they don't want to do movies. You know, it's just one of those things. Like they don't want their characters in other games. They don't even want like their stuff on YouTube with like.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
and that's been like a huge thing where Nintendo's still kind of working that out. And obviously they want to. They've been working very close hand in hand with like YouTubers and YouTube themselves to try and like work stuff out. But they're just they're so tight with like their IPs and their properties. Like they don't want anything. They don't want people doing like fan remakes of stuff. They can't,
but you see how popular. I mean, it's crazy because you think about Disney and the Disney icons, but they beat the crap out of those icons and they just put it in your face and sell as much of it as possible. And like you think about when Star Wars was being re-put out, you know, it's like how much they're putting that everywhere. But then you think about Nintendo and how tight they wrap. But Mario's a huge icon, you know, and how big they've kept this by just them controlling it, you know. But it also, you think if they do let it out there too much, it could burn it, you know. It could
saturate the market.
Exactly. So I think they do have a nice point where they are and what they've done with their icons.
And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if just in general Nintendo's very like shy about doing anything after the Wii U era. Just because they're just nervous about being successful. But I think maybe with how well the Switch has been doing and the SNES and NES classics and you know the new theme park or Nintendo Land coming out for Universal, they're kind of like maybe people like Mario. We can push them out.
Yeah. So I think my big takeaway from all this is like you think about the Wii U era, and it's like that's 4 years that like Nintendo wasn't doing squat.
Just the dark ages.
Like, dark ages for Nintendo, big time, and even with the Wii, it's like we had Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and then we had some of the like the 2D kind of side-scrolling ones as well. But it feels like there's this generation of kids, these like these kids that were born in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, that have missed Mario. It's like obviously we all grew up with Mario, and it's like whether you're still kind of hardcore into it, or you're more like Miku, you kind of grew away from it a little bit. I mean, you have the Switch and Odyssey, but you're not as hardcore as my crazy self.
You don't have that.
Me.
But it's it's one of those things I think everybody, for the most part, like grew up with Mario. It's just like
totally
like in their lives. It's on their NES. You got the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, like all that nonsense.
Oh my
it's
God,
like
that show.
Mario was just, especially like Mario 64, man. It's just like it's and things like Mario World. They're just amazing games. And I think there was just this there's this gap where you have these kids that like grew up on Angry Birds and Minecraft and all these games that are like, it's not Mario, so you don't have that same nostalgia factor with a lot of kids right now. So I think like just really diving headfirst and with their IPs, like take Mario and Friends and like just be everywhere. Get your Nintendo Land going at the theme parks. Get a movie going. Have some stellar games. I think they just need all that stuff, plus like the mobile games, all that fun stuff to really like get kids involved with Nintendo, so that later in life, they don't become these Xbox fanboys.
I mean, for me, Mario kind of disappeared in my life after Sunshine. I played the hell out of that game, and that was like one of my peak games. I used to love playing that game, and like
I think that's where a lot of people like stopped.
that was
after
I
Sunshine.
didn't really know what, because I felt like Mario just kind of like what you're saying. Nintendo kind of had just a disappearing for a little while, with the Wii U and stuff. But I feel like that's kind of, they had these little spikes. And I don't know really. I don't really remember what happened to Mario after that, or like what too many games that came out after that. Because I switched. I also did. Console switches as well. I went from GameCube to PlayStation, then to Xbox. And I stopped playing Nintendo games, as much. So, but to think about like playing Mario as a kid and growing up with that, and then when they disappear, you're like what you're saying. Those kids are stuck on the wrong. Not the wrong, but what they're around, and I feel like they're the wrong games to be growing up on.
It's funny now there's nostalgia for like Xbox, like the original Xbox and the PS2, like these kids that grew up on that stuff, where it's just like you're getting an HD remake of stuff like Shadow of the Colossus or like the original Halo games, and it's just like these kids that when they were 5-6 years old were playing those games, and it's like now that's their nostalgia, and they're hooked on those systems versus the Mario and Nintendo kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's simply just because like during that time, like not our time, that time Nintendo wasn't dominant. Like during our time when we were kids, it was Nintendo and Sega, and Nintendo just blew Sega out of the water. But like the era of the PS2 and Xbox, like the Sony and Microsoft just blew up, especially with the PS3 and 360. Like kind of blew Nintendo out of the water. So.
Well, the Wii sold way more. The Wii was huge, but it's one of those things that everybody played. Wii bowling, and then
exactly it was Wii and Wii Sports.
You think about the timing of that was like whoa, you can do this and play games. You don't have to just sit still. And then it was like Wii Fit, and everybody's like, I can get fit playing Wii Fit, and it was like that was like the pinnacle of like that's what VR is now. We're all like, whoa, you can be somewhere else. That's kind of where. That's why I think it did so well in its time period, and they fed on it well. Yeah.
Plus, that kind of the Wii was also sold at like. The Wii was just a weird system because it was sold to like you saw companies had it in like their lobbies. You just play some Wii bowling. Like it is totally different. Like it's just such a weird.
Yeah, it's like when you think of Wii. Despite the Galaxy games probably being, that's probably my top 3 or 4 like
great games,
best Mario games. I absolutely love the Galaxy games. Maybe even a little more than Odyssey. They're pretty close to one another, but. it's one of those things when you think about the Wii, you don't really think too much about Galaxy. You think about Wii Sports.
Yeah.
You think about like old people bowling.
Yeah,
you know?
playing
It's like-
tennis and bowling.
Well, that's
and-
kind of the way they advertised it, though.
that was the thing.
That's all. It was like Wii and Wii Sports is like
Yeah.
Yeah, it
because
was a
that's the only
party
game that
system.
you can really.
Yeah, they
move
really
your
like they
arms.
really aim towards that
If-
casual market.
If Mario
Exactly.
Tennis was more popular, like that would have been like a. If they did marketing with that, but then again, you know that
yeah,
I don't think that's what they were going for.
yeah. I mean, they had Mario Tennis, but it wasn't good.
You can get Wii Sports to be great, but you can't
Yeah.
get Mario
Yeah, it's so
Tennis to be
weird.
great.
And like the
screwed
Mario
up.
Kart wasn't good on it either.
Yeah, no, I really
Yeah, I
hated
didn't like
all
that.
the
Yeah, it
motion
was-
control.
I bought
sports
the-
games.
That's the thing. Like,
Oh,
and I think
wheel
that's another
too.
reason why kids just weren't into it because they were like, I prefer like
Yeah,
even
I don't know why like everybody like Nintendo. They think that like little kids want these motion controls, but I don't think anybody wants those things.
yeah.
I don't
know.
think they're developed
I mean,
enough
they've-
to understand it.
Yeah, they've definitely gotten better with it. Like the Joy Cons are way better than the Wii remote ever was.
Yeah.
But still, it's just like I don't
I can't play with the Joy-Con.
Yeah, like,
I have
why
to
do you-
have it attached
like
to the Switch.
yeah, like even when
I
you turn
can't.
on Odyssey for the first time, it's like you should play this game with Joy Cons. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
I
it's like,
tried
get out
it.
of here.
I put it down. I was just like moving around. I put it down, put it on the stand. I was like, okay, what the hell? This is, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
like
like,
this. And I just slid it
can't.
back on. I'm like, let's
Yeah.
play.
like I don't like change.
Seriously, it's too far. I'm like, I could be laying down and playing like this and be moving around.
It's like maracas.
Exactly. That's too much for me. I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's. But either way, the movie, I can't wait for it to come out. I do want to
so-
watch it.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I will say, and this kind of moving on to it's a decent segue this time.
Nice.
I think I got this
No,
one.
it wasn't. He
So-
he talked
No,
about it.
shut up. Shut up. It's
When
a
you
good
bring
one.
it up, it's not
So,
good.
look, leave me alone, all right?
Segues.
Segue. But yeah, Nintendo's they've been doing really well as
Yeah.
far as sales.
They have.
They've really been killing it with the classic, with the Switch,
Yeah.
with Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild's still selling really well. It's like numbers wise, they've been kind of killing it.
Oh yeah.
So I have some MPD numbers for October that I thought were pretty interesting.
Nice.
Figured I would pull up here. First off, the Switch and the SNES Classic were the two top selling systems for October. Keep in mind the X didn't come out till what was it, November 6th?
7th. Yeah.
7th. So X wasn't out yet, but it outsold the PS4, which obviously the PS4 is
Still going strong.
still going strong.
Yeah.
It's
But
surprising, yeah. Now, are these sales based on number of products sold or profit? Because I know the
so I think
price
this
ranges
is
and
I think
stuff.
this is units. This is
Units,
just
okay.
units.
Nice.
Instead of like a net profit kind
yeah,
of thing.
because it'd be good to know too. Because the SNES was what, $100? The classic.
The classic's 80.
80, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that doing a lot better than an X because no one wants to spend $500 right now on a
Yeah.
console that's not the next generation.
Right,
you know,
right.
it's-
But yeah, so I think if I'm not mistaken, seeing if I can see, the Switch has outsold the PS4 and Xbox One every month from July onward.
Wow.
And both
Wow,
September and
not bad.
October, Nintendo's hardware performance, including the 3DS, accounted for 2/3 of all U.S. gaming hardware sales, which surpassed 1 million units, the first time that has happened in October since 2011. That's from Polygon.
I wonder what percentage their 3DSs, because they're pumping out new 3DSs every month.
Yeah.
Like just a
I haven't
new
touched
kind.
one in so
Well,
long.
I have some interesting sales numbers from consoles. I couldn't find anything for the U.S. I was specifically trying to find something for like November so far, but I have from the sales numbers, hardware sales numbers for the week of November 6th to the 12th, and this is Japan. So the Switch sold 84,593 units. PlayStation
Damn.
4 at 23,613 units. So it's like,
This is in 1 week?
yeah, it's a week.
Just
so
in Japan, though.
This is just Japan. Japan.
People bought a
Japan.
PS4, 23,000 people bought a PS4 in a week.
Yeah. And that's like, so, what, 2, 4, 6, 8. So, I mean, it's, Switch sold like 4 times as much
Yeah.
as the PS4 in that 1 week in November. And then the new 2DS the new 2DS XL sold 10,000 or almost 11,000 units. And then the 3DS is behind that with 6,500. So it's like they're doing pretty well. Like that, that's
They're the top 5, right?
Yeah, it's that's 16,000 units as far as like 2DS, 3DS sales.
Yeah.
So it's like in 1 week, that's not half bad for a very old system,
Yeah. And again, it's probably just because they're making new ones every month. Like it just seems to be a new 3DS every other month.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Like the 2DS XL, isn't that going back? Don't we have a 3DS XL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of going back on
rid of
forth
the 3D.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah,
They just got rid of 3D?
Yeah, because, a lot of people, including myself, like, I never used the 3D.
But wasn't there a switch that just turns it
Yeah,
off?
you could turn it off.
But it's one of those things, you can make a cheaper model. It's like you have this 4-year-old system that you can now get for like $60-$70. It's like with a game. It's like scoop that up. It's
Yes, yeah, that's
I
true.
mean,
And they've also got
it's an
those
impulse buy at
weird,
that point.
I forget what they're called, those weird, like, flat 2DSs.
Yeah, those are weird.
Yeah, they're really ugly, but they just came out with like a new Zelda-themed one, which looks really nice, but it's still...
But yeah, it's like $70 with Zelda.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
like Zelda's a $40 game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
But then just kind of finishing off this list of sales, the PS4 Pro only sold like just a hair more than 6,000 units. So it's like the attach rate doesn't seem very high for the PS4 Pro. That's
It's
not
a little
too much.
pricey.
Yeah, it's like this weird half step that I don't ever hear anybody talking about the PS4 Pro. I mean, the Xbox One X, everybody seems so excited about, and we'll
Yeah.
get to their numbers in a minute. But it's I don't think I think the PS4 Pro is probably doing fine, but it's not.
It also didn't have as much of like a marketing push as the Xbox One X. Like that was the whole thing with Microsoft at E3 was like, look at our the most powerful console in the world.
Yeah.
And it's just like the PS4 Pro isn't as powerful as that. So Sony didn't really focus on marketing it at all. It was just about the games.
But then we got the Vita still selling over there in Japan with 3,000 units.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, so I don't know if you guys know this, but Xbox isn't really big in Japan. Just never has been. But apparently
I can see why.
the X is selling out in Japan. I don't think they're getting many units over there.
No.
But just the fact that it's even selling over there, it's better than nothing for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Just in that week, Xbox One X sold 1,639 units in Japan, which is like, that's basically its launch window in Japan. So it's a small number for
All of
them,
them.
but it's they sold all of them apparently.
Yeah. I wonder how much are typically manufactured for Japan since it's an American brand.
Yeah.
And since Japan
Probably
is like the HQ for Sony and Nintendo, like
They've just never had a big presence over there.
Yeah.
They've tried several times to try and break that market, but I don't think they've just ever really, have made it really big over there.
Yeah.
Just as well out here. That's
Yeah.
it.
Even when the 360 was huge, everybody was Wii, PS3 over there. It's
it
just,
kind of makes sense just because you're dealing with two Japanese companies in Japan.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, and there was even that game they tried to, for the 360, they tried to do this big Japanese push. It's called like Blue Dragon or something like that. It was made by the Dragon Quest guys, I think.
don't know.
Right?
I
don't
know. I never had a 360, so I would.
I did, but I have no idea what
I
that is.
can't remember.
I don't live in
but
Japan.
They tried,
We're there right now.
but I mean, it came out here too, obviously. But there was here's a
Blue
Japanese game, but it just didn't. But anyway, so finishing off this list, you had the 2DS with 1,176 units.
People's buying that.
And then you ready?
So
We
many.
got the Xbox One S at 49 units,
Wow, that's
the PlayStation 3 at 38 units, and the Wii U at 32 units.
jeez. The Wii
All
U.
right.
Can't believe the Wii U is still being sold.
Yeah,
I kind of want to go meet those 32 people.
Yeah, it's like
Why did you buy that?
It's like, why did you buy the Wii U?
What is it going to do for you? Wii Sports. I need to play.
That was the Wii.
But so anyway, just to kind of go off that, so the Xbox One X sales have been really, as far as the UK and the US, have been doing really well since launch. We have some numbers for the UK, which is 80,000 units sold since it launched, and we don't have any numbers for the U.S. yet, but
It's doing well.
yeah. So off of VG charts, we have. They say the head of Xbox Games Marketing at Microsoft, Aaron Greenberg, revealed that the sales of the Xbox One X in North America are much bigger than the 80,000 units it sold in the UK. So they're apparently doing really well.
I don't believe it because I mean I was thinking about buying one. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer to get it, but I looked online and every store in LA is sold out.
Yeah.
Every single Best Buy,
so
every
it's,
Target. Nobody has anything.
Yeah. So it seems to be doing well. So good for them.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely going to be getting an Xbox soon, but I'll probably get the S. Just I don't have a use for the X yet, but I like all the backwards compatibility stuff going on, and I kind of want to get PUBG and Cuphead.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
But,
I'm gonna pick up Cuphead on my PC.
I'm gonna get the X before PUBG comes out.
Nice.
Be able to play that in true 4K.
That ugly looking game.
I was
in
gonna say
4K.
that game doesn't even
Might
need
as
those
well get
graphics.
Minecraft in 4K
Yeah,
too.
it's like
Well, I mean, I don't know. They advertise Sea of Thieves. That game is not a crazy 4K.
I know
game.
that's why it doesn't make sense.
yeah, just get Forza.
Forza does look really nice.
I
Yeah.
bet.
I'll get it. It's $29 on Black Friday.
Nice.
Might buy it.
There you go. I'm gonna get Wolfenstein 2.
I'm gonna get Mario Rabbids.
Black Friday shopping.
Black Friday.
Black Thursday.
So just kind of going over a couple more sales numbers. NPD for October, as far as the games go. So there's some weird discrepancy here as far as what sold the best for the month. So as far as NPD numbers go, it's
Like
Shadow
that-
of War.
Is that number one?
So it's technically number one, but Nintendo's saying that they sold the most because Mario Galaxy's number 3 on this, or Odyssey, is number 3 on this list, but it doesn't include their digital sales.
Okay.
So according to Nintendo and their data, they sold more than any of the other guys for October. So
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
So and they were only out for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah,
in October.
Wow, that's
so
that's
they
pretty
sold
amazing.
over 2 million copies just in those couple days.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like the attach rate is huge for between the Switch and Odyssey.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is,
I thought the number one game would have been Assassin's Creed, but
yeah, no, they're so
really,
Is that it?
you didn't think it would be that well sold?
I don't know. I mean, maybe from my perspective, I didn't think it would be number one. I think Nintendo has a way bigger.
I
I
thought
feel like
because-
Nintendo has a really big launch purchase,
yeah,
like
they do.
with their games especially.
I just thought because it was like cross-platform and like the Assassin's Creed brand is so huge,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason people love it, and
Yeah.
it had a year off, so they had like
Yeah.
there's more like hype for it. So
Yeah. So yeah, and it's definitely I was kind of thinking the same thing, but it's like Nintendo and their attach rate with their
Oh, yeah.
first party games is just huge.
yeah, no, totally.
So keeping like Nintendo in mind and what they said, the best selling game was Mario Odyssey, followed by Shadow of War, followed by Assassin's Creed, followed by South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
The fractured.
Oh, I need to
butthole.
get that.
Yeah,
It's another
Hey,
$30
everyone's saying
game on
that's
Black
good.
Friday.
Is
Yeah,
it? Is it?
yeah. Everybody.
I really
seems
liked
to
the
like
first one. I thought it was a
never
really
played
fun
them.
game. No, it's a
Get
fun
good.
I'm
game,
not a big
dude.
South Park guy. I never
it. Yeah, but they're apparently they're really good.
played the
RPGs.
64 South Park.
That's a
Oh,
good game too.
That was a fun game.
No,
They're
it's
good at the time.
The Stick
I
of
bet
Truth
it
is
is.
the Stick of Truth
Terrible.
is legitimately like a fun RPG. Like
Okay.
it's cool combat system. It's funny,
Yeah.
like powers and stuff. It's a
Is
pretty
it like
good
a
game.
multiplayer game or is it all? Is it like a?
No, just a single player
Yeah.
campaign RPG.
Yeah.
And it's
And it's like it's
classes
one of
and-
those RPGs that's like I think about 8 to 10 hours to kind of complete. So it's like a smaller RPG, but
Yeah.
has good mechanics, funny story.
yeah. I
like-
thought the replayability value was pretty high as well, just because like different classes lead to like different dialogues as well,
Right.
and like there's just funny classes. Like one of
Yeah.
you could be a Jew. That's one of the classes. It's pretty funny.
So yeah, that's another game I need to pick up at some point and play through. I have a whole list of games I need to play through
Yeah.
during the holidays. But just kind of finishing off this list here, bunch of nonsense: NBA 2K18, FIFA 18, WWE 2K18,
All the
Madden
2K
18,
games, all the EA Sports games,
Destiny
pretty much.
2. which is still the best-selling game of the year so far, and then Forza Motorsport 7, which, going off this list, I hope the numbers are going to be there next month, but
when did Call of Duty come out? Was that October or November?
November.
Ah, that's why. Okay.
So
that's going to be number one on that.
Yeah,
on the next
Yeah, probably.
I really, really hope Wolfenstein 2 is on next month's MPD numbers, because it's not on this one, but the other 2 games that came out the same day are, which is Mario Odyssey and Origins.
Assassin's Creed.
And man, I want that game to do well, because I want them to keep making just stellar, single player campaigns, no, loot box nonsense.
Well, it's Bethesda, man.
Yeah.
Like, they will. Like, between Fallout and Skyrim and Wolfenstein, like,
and then you got
have faith.
And then they just had Evil Within 2 just came out.
Yeah.
And then they have Dishonored, obviously. It's like all these single player games with no loot boxes.
Yeah.
It's like, so I want those to do well, so that Bethesda just keeps doing that. But anyway, so kind of moving off of some numbers, I just thought those were all interesting, fun to talk about. So the last thing I wanted to touch on today, because we're coming to the end of November now, there's only, for the most part, there's really only like one big release that hasn't come out, which is Xenoblade, which is coming out the beginning of December. So outside of that, just about everything else that I would think is kind of a Game of the Year contender is out now. So I wanted to kind of go down the Metacritic list here, and with like the top 10 games of the year so far as critic ratings.
Sure.
And then we can sort of talk about what we're sort of thinking and Game of the Year wise, and for us personally, but also like what we think, like who's going to bring home the gold overall with a lot of the Game of the Year awards.
Right.
All right. So I'm assuming, and we talked about all this a little bit before we started, so I'm assuming you guys already sort of know the list.
Give or take, yeah. I can guess that 2 Nintendo titles are up there.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So we got Breath of the Wild, and I'm not going to go. There's a couple on this list that are like the Switch version of Breath of the Wild and the Wii U are different ratings on this by like a point. I'm not going to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Or ports like Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip that stuff and sort of. Anyway, so Breath of the Wild number 1 with a score of 97 on Metacritic, followed by Super Mario Odyssey, which also scored a 97. Which, it's funny, the user ratings for Odyssey are a little higher than Breath of the Wild, which I thought was kind of interesting.
They're not 0.2 or 0.8?
Yeah, it's not a 0.8. Yeah, I don't think Battlefront 2 is going to be
Battlefront's taking it. This year.
They're right in line for a comeback.
It's what's the award show for movies that it's for like the bad
Razzies.
movies? The Razzies.
Oh.
They need to do that for like Game of the Year.
That's how back in the alley at the Game Awards.
They're just like back alley. They're just beating the heck out of
the guy in charge of EA. Just like, what did you do?
All right, so we got Breath of the Wild followed by Odyssey, followed by Divinity: Original Sin 2 for the PC, which is a game that was never on my radar because I'm not a PC gamer, but
I never heard of it.
Our boy Nath over here has been playing it and seems to Nath.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I haven't played a ton of it, but from what I've played, it's really fun. It's a good looking game as well.
Yeah. So Nathan seems to be enjoying himself there. I need to. Oh yeah, calm
Jeez.
down over
He's
there.
enjoying himself thoroughly.
Pull your
I'm
pants
seeing
up.
a different thing over here.
But yeah, so when I read that, I was curious. I need to go check out some more of that game because I honestly I don't know too much about it.
Yeah,
But,
I don't either.
Apparently, it's a pretty good game.
I'll try and pick it up on my PC as well.
There we go.
I won't because I don't have a PC.
You get the Xbox. It's like a PC, right?
Essentially.
Pretty
Essentially.
much.
And then finishing off the list here, we got Persona 5. We have What Remains of Edith Finch. We have Undertale. And then I'm going to skip Mario Kart and Shovel Knight and Bayonetta. And then we have Lone Echo, which I don't know anything. Have you heard of it?
Oh,
No.
Sega Genesis Dolphin game.
Yep.
That's what that is.
I watched the video on it before, and it just looks.
Oh, the space one.
It's the space one. It's the one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's just that
you're
weird-
getting ready to be part of NASA and work for the rest of your life.
It's a space
And
simulator.
that's all you do in the. It was a 3-hour video, and I skipped, and it was okay. Now he's outside. Okay, now he's putting a robot together. Oh, now he's pushing off a robot. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so just the VR game. I forgot about that. And then
guess.
F1 2017, which apparently that's a good game. I don't know.
What is
Wait,
that? Is that a fighter pilot game?
I think that's a
Formula
racing
racing?
game.
Formula
Formula
racing?
racing, right?
Is that
Maybe.
the only VR? I'm sorry, not the racing one. Is that the only VR game? The
In
one that
this
you just
kind of
talked about?
top 10-ish list.
Wow, I'm surprised that RE7 VR wasn't there.
No. Which, I guess that's just part of RE7. It's like you can play it with or without the VR.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is like, I think 30 or 40 on this list as far as rating.
Hmm.
And then we have Final Fantasy 15, Stormblood. I don't know what the heck that is. Is that a
Didn't play it,
DLC?
but-
I've never played one Final Fantasy game my whole life, so I
What?
couldn't tell you. Just
Damn.
yeah. It's
I
one-
stopped playing after like 10-2, and then I played 13, and then I was like, okay.
You know what's weird? I've always heard of Final Fantasy like the numbers, but I've never heard of like. I've only heard of like 7, 10,
7's the best.
15, and like 3.
Yeah, they just skip
Because they're
numbers.
the key, well, they're like
Like,
the,
I've never heard of Final Fantasy
they're the most
8 or 9.
Seven was like
People love
one of the
those.
most popular
Really?
sold wise. 8 was one of the like cult classics. 10 was just like they introduced women into it, and they were like,
There are ladies?
well, it was a really good story, and everybody was kind of like they really liked the way it played out, and I really enjoyed it. And then they did 10-2, and then I just kind of it all disappeared. I played 13, and then 15. I think 14 and 15 they started doing like massive multiplayer.
Yeah.
I think that's when it kind of switched for me.
How about 11 and 12?
I don't know.
That's the thing. Like
I don't know. I don't remember what happened.
Every time I hear a
12
Final
just
Fantasy
came out
game,
with like kind of a, I think like an HD sort of remake kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
beats me.
I don't know. That people like that series. They just love all those
Seven's the
games.
best.
for the most
Apparently, they've made 15 of them.
part. Plus a lot of other ones.
You have to play the
like Crystal
remaster of
Chronicles
7.
and all that fun
You
stuff.
have to.
But, sure.
I will buy it for you so you can play it.
All right.
But just like some other ones that are kind of on this list that I sort of know a little more about, like Horizon Zero Dawn, Injustice
Ooh,
2.
that's a good game.
Wolfenstein 2 is up there. Nier Automata. Cuphead. So it's like this is. I mean, all these games just have like crazy high ratings.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
I think it's just like a killer year for games in general. Like
That was a good year.
2017 was great.
It was
Not
a good
many
year.
Xbox games on that list.
Yeah,
There's
I mean,
like
there's
one
obviously
or
you
two.
have
Exclusives.
Yeah.
But-
not too many exclusives, but third-party games like Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Cuphead's an exclusive, and I think that's going to
Cuphead
take
is
home
very-
a lot of
PUBG.
awards. PUBG, for
PUBG's
sure.
PC,
But
but that's
Xbox
still
One.
mean,
they're
that's
about to
Xbox.
get it. Yeah, we're gonna get it in by December 12th.
There you go.
So,
I'm stoked.
so how do you guys feel about, or what do you guys think about what game's gonna take home like the most sort of Game of the Year awards this year?
If I had to guess, like overall the most awards?
Yeah, it's like, as far as Game of the Year, it's like last year I think like Overwatch took home like 40 Game of the Year awards.
Yeah.
Out of what I think the general population is gonna think, or my perspective.
What do you think of? Like,
I think
what critics. Are
I
gonna-
think critics are gonna take Breath of the Wild. I think that game has just had so much,
Yeah.
and it's done so much, and it was time for it to finally come out, and they did so well with it. I still haven't beaten the game.
Yeah.
I'm still playing it
You're
every
still-
so often.
you're
And then
still
I got
the first
Odyssey, and
part.
I'm playing that at the same time.
Yeah. It's weird because like I think Breath of the Wild overall wins Game of the Year, but in terms of like the most Game of the Year awards, I mean one game to me that comes to mind, Horizon Zero Dawn, like for multiple awards. One, that game is beautiful. Like the different landscapes in that game is gorgeous. The storytelling is great. The voice acting is really good. So like those 3 categories right there that I'm sure those are all
For sure.
awards worthy. So I think that one's going to take home a bunch. But overall, I do think Breath of the Wild is going to take it for Game of the Year, just because it reinvented the Zelda formula.
Yeah.
And it just made a completely
Just
different
open
Zelda
world
game.
games. It's like
Yeah.
the fact that you could just climb anything and go anywhere. I think is just huge.
Yeah. Nothing is stopping you unless it's raining. Like that's pretty much it.
And I think that's
Stupid rain. I hate
that's
that
I mean
rain.
that's a tough thing too, because I think this is where we're gonna find the split in gamers and how many are once and how many. Because I'm a big multiplayer gamer. Me personally, my vote would go for PUBG. I haven't played it because it's not on Xbox, but I play Fortnite, which is a similar style.
Yeah.
Battle
Yeah.
Royale. I'd put Fortnite up at the top because I play that game so much, and it's just that formula of game. Going in 100-person fresh start every single time. I think PUBG, the audience that it's created, and like watching all these top Twitch streamers and how big it's come over the last
blew
year
up.
is just like.
Yeah,
is incredible,
it's
and
crazy.
it's even nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards,
Yeah,
and it's
and-
like to see that competing with Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, which is such a story based and gameplay based, versus just you go in and have some fun for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
you'd be out in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
And
just get 100 people and just
Exactly.
go.
Well,
That's why gaming's interesting now, because
It's
it's like
phenomenal.
because
The categories.
even last year, when people were talking like discussing Game of the Year, you had stuff like Overwatch going up against
Uncharted
something
4.
like Uncharted 4, but also going up against something like Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
wow.
true.
Yeah,
Oh my
isn't
god.
that kind of crazy?
Yeah.
Like those games are so vastly different from one another.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't doubt it if Pokemon Go did get some of that stuff. I'd have to look that up, but they probably won some awards because that game
Yeah.
was huge last year.
Yeah, definitely
It
probably
still
like a
kinda
mobile
is,
award.
but-
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no, there are
it's,
people at my job who still play Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
it's
know. Too much.
so it's very interesting where we are now, where it's just like, well, what do you give Game of the Year to? It's like, yeah, there's 20 million people playing PUBG, but is
Yeah.
that like, is that more important and a better game in the eyes of gamers than something like
Right.
Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
a single player, story-driven
Yeah.
adventure
Yeah.
game?
So much of that stuff is subjective.
It's based on the amount of amount of players, like who's going to vote for their game and who's going to say it's the best game. It's like,
Yeah.
but that's where we're split. It's Microsoft, Sony. It's Nintendo. It's like everybody
Yeah.
has their perspective and who has the biggest fan base.
Yeah,
pretty
sure.
much,
I mean, it's like, what are you looking for in a game? Are you looking for a great story, or are you looking for a good time with your buddies?
Exactly.
It's just huge
Everybody's
differences.
different,
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what the critics have to say, but I can't remember who brought it up, and maybe it was you or Nathan, but just the split in vote between like Mario and Zelda
Oh yeah.
Nathan wrote that,
might it might help like something like PUBG take the gold from them.
I
Yeah.
would
happen.
love to see that.
Yeah.
I would be so ecstatic to see that happen.
Yeah, so
And I know a lot of the Twitch would be so excited because Twitch streamers for PUBG are so big right now and so popular. Like,
Yeah.
I've just been watching so many of this last month alone, and it's like because I think the Twitch Awards just happened recently, right, or something recent, and like there's a lot of these famous like the best Twitch streamer, and it's like guys that Twitch PUBG, they won, and it's like
best Twitch streamer.
it's
What
crazy because
award?
people create these characters online, like
Yeah.
I watched this guy named like Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah.
It's just a guy that wears a mustache and a wig, and he's just like, he's the two-time All-Star champion, 1993, 1994, the gaming champion. And it's like,
what?
That's it. You made me know more, but like,
just gaming.
he's just like the
Yes.
gaming champion of
In
1992,
92,
and 93 and 94. And he says that every game he plays with people, he'll play random games with people and be getting in, and he'll just talk to
Sounds
somebody.
like
and
something made up.
It is. It's just he makes these things up, but it's
He played
incredible.
NHL '94. He played NBA
that's
Jam.
before the internet was around, so it's like nobody
Yeah.
could prove it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just it's incredible that a game can do something like that,
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
together all these people. And that's why I think, like you were saying, if they're split between Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, PUBG has a chance. I don't know who else is on that list for the nominees of the Game Awards, but
Yeah, and I mean,
I didn't think it's as big as Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and PUBG.
Yeah, and
Like,
if,
those are the
if
three biggest
PUBG
games
does
right now.
take it, I would imagine that Nintendo gets like Developer of the Year or like Company of the
Oh,
Year.
they
Yeah.
have
Because I mean,
to.
like two
else is doing
AAA
what they're
titles
doing?
like that,
Yeah.
and on a new system, and
Yeah.
just it's amazing.
Yeah, I gotta say, like Nintendo, Bethesda, and Blizzard just
Blizzard.
killed it this year. Like I
Yeah.
think just those three alone,
Mm-hmm.
you could have a very long debate as to like who was kind of the, video game company of the year, because
Yeah.
there's just nothing but fan service from all three of them.
Yeah. I mean, with Blizzard especially, just saying let's put out a bunch of free stuff.
Yeah.
StarCraft 2 as well, and new maps and skins for Overwatch, and just a constant fan service for all of our products.
Yeah.
And we have a new Overwatch American League for fans to watch. So it's like they've just been dynamite this year.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff coming out for them.
I'm gonna give a big shout out to Epic for bringing Battle Royale to Xbox. I mean, I've been waiting for PUBG for so long, and the fact that they brought it, I was like,
Yeah, that was such a good
I know they have
sneaky move
backlash,
from
and they
them.
were like, they were like, that's our game. We're bringing that to Xbox, and they're like, oh, whatever. But Fortnite is such a good game, man. I don't like the first player. I'm not a big fan of the first player, like the story mode and whatever they do with Horde and the Horde mode and everything.
Did they
But
fix the controls yet?
no, it's the same thing. I'm pretty sure. But
it's so bad.
I love it, man. It's so fun.
Again, see, subjective.
It's so fun.
A lot of this stuff is really subjective.
Yeah. But anyway, so I think there's some really good games out this year that you know are going to be like
Lots.
fighting tooth and nail for kind of awards.
We didn't
It's
even
like
mention
like-
Hellblade.
yeah, it's like Hellblade. I think is just going to be it was such like a quiet contender on everybody's list, but especially like indie game of the year, like
Oh, yeah.
it's going to go neck and neck with Cuphead. I
Cuphead,
think.
yeah,
It's
totally.
like,
Cuphead's
going to win,
It's gonna win.
but
But
I
Hellblade's
hope
damn good,
Hellblade
man.
wins a couple things.
Yeah,
'cause it's
I hope it does,
That
too.
game is just phenomenal.
Yeah, not only for the game, but also for the cause. Like a
Yeah.
lot of the proceeds that they got is pretty incredible, just from pre-production to final product. Just overall great.
But anyway, so we'll see. Like the next month or two is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, we'll be discussing we're going to have like a whole game of the year and all that fun stuff very soon, kind of end of December.
yeah,
That's going to
totally.
be our plan. But yeah, so you know, that's pretty much our show, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it this week. I didn't screw it up too much for you. Hopefully you like this guy over here.
I'm gonna be dead next week.
He's gonna die again, and we're gonna use his soul to resurrect Guillermo.
That's how
and
that
he'll
works.
Host, and I'll be back in my seat again. But anyway, so you know, hopefully you guys are enjoying your turkey. Hopefully you hit your grandma with that turkey leg.
Turkey leg.
You know, nobody likes her. She's crazy, little racist.
Just don't stuff your grandma.
Stuffing turkey leg.
But yeah, so you know, just want to give a quick shout out to DJ CUTMAN for them sweet tunes, baby, for our
That's
intro
DJ
and
CUTMAN.
outro. But yeah, so you can follow us all on our Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. I'm at ZachMattSkinnis, ZACKMATZGANIS. We got Mick here,
Ooh, that was fast. I'm Mick, yeah. At Mick to the Wood.
and
Pretty
that's
simple.
Twitter and Instagram, correct?
Yeah, and soon to be Twitch as well.
Ooh,
Oh,
Do
nice.
some Twitch streaming, so.
Right on.
Yeah, I need to get into that. I've been thinking about it for like Overwatch.
Yeah, I think it's time.
yeah,
I think they need to see the quality
time, baby.
of good gamers.
I've had some.
Not so much him.
I've had
but
some
a
real
little more.
fun Roadhog plays lately. So.
I saw the picture you sent. Yeah, 100% road.
Yeah,
that's
baby.
Good.
Then we have Hav.
I'm at Multiplayer Hob on Twitter, and that's it.
Yeah, you haven't gotten that Instagram yet.
No, I just...
We don't care.
I don't take pictures. Like,
Just follow Guillermo on Instagram. What is
Yeah,
it?
pretty
Guillermo
much.
_Dorado.
Yeah, I think that's.
Dorado.
No,
Accent.
Masterado.
Mastorado. There we go.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I think he's
There's something different, though.
oh shoot, I can't remember what his Twitter is.
He says it every week. Just go back to
Yeah,
last.
just go watch last week's. And then we have Nathan at multiplayer Nath.
Nath.
Yeah, there we
Nathan Redfield. That's him.
go. Nathan
No,
Nath
Redford.
Redfield. But yeah, so that's our show, everybody. Stay tuned next week for some more multiplayer action, and keep grinding. We'll see you at the respawn.
Love you.
Later.
On behalf of Multiplayer, Mario would like to send a special thank you to Jaden Lawrence, Arturo Mendera, Mercedan Kroll Pitaru, and Mario Dorado. Thank you so much for watching.